Biden administration conditions human rights reviews to U.S. weapons sales. President Joe Biden's administration reveals a new policy which revamps the existing protocols of arms sales to the other countries. The new commercial arms transfer policy places increased emphasis on the human rights, attempting to roll back the Trump-era policy of giving primacy to the commercial concerns. Now let us break down what the new policy is, whether it affects the U.S. armed sales, and would foreign governments subject to such review change their policies and actions for the good. The new policy will include review of the security assistance, government-to-government weapon transfers, the sales of the U.S.-origin military equipment and services overseen by the State Department, as well as the Defense and Commerce Departments, including the firearms commonly available in the United States. Now, the State Department maintains that the new policy allows attempts to address the possibility of weapons sales can result in major human rights violations. The new policy will require the State Department to preventively assess whether sales could facilitate the genocide, crimes against humanity, breaches of the Geneva Conventions, or serious violations of the international law in itself. So who has the US offered to sell most of its weapons to in 2022? As per reports, US has offered sale exports to Indonesia, Greece, Australia, Poland, along with Egypt, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, and the UAE. In 2021, Saudi Arabia, Australia, Qatar, UK, Japan, and South Korea were among the major arms importers from the US, along with India, UAE, and Israel. Last year, in 2022, the foreign military sales were recorded at $51.9 billion, up by 49%. And other military hardware, services, and technical data were sold worth $153.7 billion, totaling to $205 billion. It is also important to mention that in terms of job creation by the government spending, US government's military spending accounts for the 5th highest areas of job creation. In recent years, human rights activists have raised the issue with US arms exports to countries such as Saudi Arabia and the UAE, primarily for their alleged choice of civilian targets in its conflict with the Houthi rebels in Yemen. If future procurements are brought under tighter scrutiny and arms sales may hit delays or roadblocks, there is a possibility that other arms exporters such as France, China, Germany, South Korea, Japan, and Israel may attempt to scale up its armed exports to the regions and other states brought under such review. Similarly, it is important to mention that the US has supplied over $27.4 billion worth of military aid to Ukraine in the ongoing war with Russia. Due to the ongoing supplies to Ukraine, the US-based arms producers have faced supply chain challenges, particularly the anti-tank weapon systems such as Javelin. This challenge in particular points to ability of the key industry players to meet the skewed demands, which outrun existing supply flows. Moreover, while it is difficult to tell how drastically the arms importers of US military equipment may change their reliance on the US, and whether the US arms output will be affected adversely as conflict in Ukraine is set to remain protracted for the near future, and demand is unlikely to experience a decline. Until now, it only appears that the US arms producers will have to meet supplies to meet the existing demand in conflict areas such as Ukraine, and supply confirmed orders which have been cleared by different stakeholders in the US. I'm Tayyaba, and this was your Daily Dispatch.